Welcome. This is The Canadian Journalist, our first story for the channel, November 3rd, 2023. In today's story, update on the war in the Middle East. President Biden has called for a pause on Israel's strikes on Palestinian territories. It's not a full-on ceasefire, but it is something. When asked about demanding a ceasefire, the president sort of agreed. I quote, "I think we need a pause," he said. Quote, "A pause means give time to get the prisoners out," end quote. Israel did not get that message. Overnight, Israeli forces reportedly struck the Jabalia refugee camp, claiming it was targeting a high-ranking Hamas commander there. Palestinian authorities say that almost 200 people died in that strike. The United Nations on Wednesday said that this could amount to war crimes. Here is the UN human rights on Twitter. Gaza. Given the high number of civilian casualties and the scale of destruction following Israeli airstrikes on Jabalia refugee camp, we have serious concerns that these are disproportionate attacks that could amount to war crimes. Israel says that at least 16 Israeli soldiers have been killed since the ground invasion began. The Wall Street Journal reports that Palestinians in the West Bank have also been under attack from Israeli settlers, although this is not the same coordinated response from the Israeli government. Even President Biden flagged this last week by saying, "They're attacking Palestinians in places they're entitled to be. It has to stop now." Saudi Arabia has reportedly approved the deployment of U.S. air defense systems within its borders to safeguard Israel against external threats. The Saudi King Salman and his son Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman have also launched a fundraising campaign for aid to Gaza through the King's Humanitarian Aid Center, according to the Wall Street Journal. The United States does not seem to be working diplomatically with Saudi Arabia for a de-escalation in that region. At archive.vn, the 16 Israeli soldiers killed since start of Gaza ground operation, IDF confirms. The IDF's operation in the Jabalia refugee camp in the northern Gaza Strip on Tuesday took control of a Hamas military stronghold and killed the commander of Hamas' Jabalia brigade. The Israeli army announced on Wednesday that 10 soldiers were killed in two separate incidences in the northern Gaza Strip on Tuesday, bringing the total number of soldiers killed fighting in Gaza to 16. According to the IDF, 11 of the soldiers were killed when their armored personnel carrier was struck by an anti-tank missile, while an explosive charge killed 2. The 2 other soldiers were killed by anti-tank missile. On Wednesday, the IDF reservist was killed by a mortar fire near Bereri. Now to the Wall Street Journal. In West Bank, Israeli settlers step up attacks against Palestinians. A series of shootings that left 6 dead and 2 communities divided is part of a spasm of violence. West Bank, on the morning of October 12th, Hani Odi was considering a problem: how to get the bodies of 4 Palestinians shot dead during an attack by Israeli settlers to the cemetery in Qusar, where he is mayor. 4 men have been killed the day before. Israeli police are still investigating the circumstances of the death, which came after a Hamas massacre of over 1,400 people a few days earlier. And to finish it off, here is the Saudi Defense Minister's statement. Saudi Arabia has approved the deployment of U.S. air defense systems within its borders to safeguard Israel against external threats. During discussions on the Middle East situation, it was decided that additional air defense systems would be stationed in Saudi Arabia as missiles originating from Yemen and targeting Israel pass over Saudi territory. And here we have a photo of Sniffin' Joe with Salman. The Hezbollah chief promises pressure on Israel. Blinken returns to Mideast. Latest updates. The Saudi Arabia's King Salman and his son Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman launched a fundraising campaign for aid to Gaza through the King's Humanitarian Aid Center, a continuation of the kingdom's historical support for Palestinians. And here is that Salman, he met with Blinken, a warmonger, Blinken there on the right, who actually had his kids dress up as, for Halloween, for the White House Halloween party, as Zelensky, and his daughter as a Ukrainian flag. Anyways, I'm sure the kids didn't choose those costumes. So he met with Blinken to review our close and strategic relations as well as the efforts to de-escalate tensions in the region. We also explored aspects of cooperation to achieve our shared visions of promoting security and stability both in the region and the world. And here is the photo with Blinken with sniffer Joe Biden with his son as the stiletto dancing Zelensky in green and his daughter virtue signaling the flag of Ukraine. This is the Canadian Journalist, guys, on November 3rd, 2023. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next round.